The Kree-Skrull War arc reveals the Kree emissary Captain Marvel, also known as Mar-Vell, a warrior scientist exiled on Earth, was secretly working with human Rick Jones, a non-powered Earth youth tied to the Avengers. That issue shows Kree extremist Ronan the Accuser, a formidable Kree judge and enforcer, seizing control over the Supreme Intelligence, the Kree collective mental supercomputer, and sending robotic sentries to Earth to devolve humanity. Captain Marvel trains and warns the Avengers about a Kree plan to roll humanity back into prehistoric status. During this time, government figure H. Warren Craddock leads an Alien Activities Commission, stirring public fear and prompting protesters to trash Avengers Mansion. Skrulls, a green, shape-changing alien race, infiltrate government and Avengers members disguised as Earth heroes. The real heroes disband temporarily when key members are abducted by Super-Skrull, a Skrull empowered with the combined powers of the Fantastic Four. Remaining Avengers investigate and free Vision via a miniature Ant-Man shrinking into Vision's internal circuits. They uncover the Skrull base and rescue minds of Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Captain Marvel aboard a Skrull ship. Super-Skrull escapes back to Skrull space with them. The Inhumans, led by Triton and Black Bolt, are also attacked, but Avengers protect them and restore Black Bolt's rule. The Avengers regroup. Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor return and serve as the Big Three leadership to reassemble the team. They locate Skrull impersonators posing as the Fantastic Four. Super-Skrull departs with the prisoners, and Captain Marvel is coerced into building an Omni-Wave projector, a device for teleporting Skrull forces. Vision pursues the Skrull vessel. Meanwhile, mandroids built by Craddock's forces arrest other Avengers. Super-Skrull attacks the Inhumans' hidden city on Attilan, but fails, and heads back under pressure. Mar-Vell is forced to finish the Omni-Wave projector under captive conditions. The Avengers battle mandroids in San Francisco. Black Bolt breaks Maximus's mental hold over the Inhumans and reassumes leadership. Rick Jones is captured by Kree agents and taken to Hala. Then, on the Skrull homeworld, Vision nearly kills a Skrull pilot to learn the war plans and save Scarlet Witch. Rick faces the Supreme Intelligence on Hala, then is sent into the Negative Zone, where he encounters Annihilus. Rick manifests cosmic potential and fires a psychic bolt to repel Annihilus, unlocking full evolutionary power. The storyline concludes with Rick wielding godlike energy to freeze both Kree and Skrull armies in stasis. That halts the conflict. Captain Marvel's fate is ambiguous. The Avengers return Rick and themselves to Earth. The Supreme Intelligence reasserts control over the Kree Empire. The storyline established Earth's role as strategic ground zero in a galaxy-spanning war, introduced tension between Vision and Scarlet Witch, and showcased Rick Jones accessing a Destiny Force manifesting hero-level creation powers. It remains a seminal narrative that defined Avengers' scope in cosmic storytelling. In the night Gwen Stacy died, Peter Parker leads both a secret life as Spider-Man and a public life as a young man recently returned from caring for his friend Harry Osborn after a drug overdose. Harry's father, Norman Osborn, confronts Peter at Harry's bedside and browbeats him for the crisis. Norman shifts back into his Green Goblin persona upon recalling Spider-Man's identity. He uses a pumpkin bomb and a satchel to abduct Gwen Stacy, Peter's supportive girlfriend who is visiting Harry. Norman lures Spider-Man to a bridge. Atop the bridge, Norman taunts Spider-Man and knocks Gwen off the structure. Peter shoots a web line at Gwen's legs to save her, but the sudden stop inflicts a fatal neck injury. When Peter pulls her up, he realizes she is dead. Norman departs, claiming she died before the webbing caught her. In the subsequent issue, Peter storms a warehouse and beats Norman until he cannot kill him. Norman's glider then impales himself accidentally during the fight, resulting in his death. Peter returns home emotionally drained and encounters Mary Jane Watson, a vivacious friend whose grief forms a new bond with him. This arc became a major shift in comic storytelling by ending with Gwen's death and Norman's demise. It marked Peter's transition from idealism to trauma-driven vigilance. A later note explained that Gwen's neck snapped from whiplash caused by the web line, confirming Peter's unintended role in her death. The deaths of Gwen and the Green Goblin had long-term consequences. It redefined Spider-Man's emotional core, deepened his relationship with Mary Jane, and solidified Norman's Green Goblin as his primary nemesis. In January 1980, Marvel Comics began publishing the Uncanny X-Men issues number 129 through number 138, collectively known as the Dark Phoenix Saga. This storyline delves into Jean Grey's transformation into the Dark Phoenix and the ensuing consequences. The saga initiates with Jean Grey, a founding member of the X-Men, being exposed to the Phoenix Force during a mission in space. The Phoenix Force is a cosmic entity embodying life, death, and rebirth. Jean's exposure to this force enhances her abilities, granting her immense power. However, the transformation is not without its challenges, as Jean grapples with the overwhelming nature of her newfound strength. Subsequently, Jean becomes entangled with the Hellfire Club, a clandestine organization with its own agenda. Within the club, she encounters Mastermind, a member capable of creating illusions who manipulates her perceptions, leading her to adopt the persona of the Black Queen. This manipulation exacerbates her internal conflict, pushing her closer to the edge. As Jean's powers continue to escalate, she inadvertently destroys a star, resulting in the annihilation of a solar system and the loss of billions of lives. This catastrophic event prompts the Shi'ar Empire, an advanced alien civilization, to intervene. Led by Princess Lilandra Naramani, the Shi'ar demand justice for the destruction caused by the Dark Phoenix. A trial is convened, and the X-Men are drawn into a confrontation with the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, a formidable group of warriors tasked with enforcing the Empire's laws. In the ensuing battle, Jean Grey, overwhelmed by the enormity of her actions and the threat she poses, chooses to end her life. Her sacrifice halts the immediate threat, but the repercussions of her transformation and demise resonate throughout the universe. The Dark Phoenix saga remains a seminal narrative in comic book history, highlighting themes of power, responsibility, and sacrifice. It underscores the complexities of character evolution and the profound impact of individual choices on a cosmic scale. The Days of Future Past storyline alternates between two distinct timelines, one set in an oppressive 2013 dominated by mutant-hunting Sentinels, and another in 1980 during a pivotal moment in mutant-human relations. In the future year 2013, mutant-hunting Sentinels have seized control of North America and enforce mutant internment camps. Remaining mutants wear power-nullifying inhibitor collars. Many mutants and superhumans are dead. To alter this future, Rachel Summers, daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey in that timeline, uses her psychic power to project Kate Pryde's consciousness back into her younger self, Kitty Pryde, in 1980. Kate appears in Kitty's body during a training session in the X-Men's Danger Room at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Kitty is surprised, nearly crushed by traps, but she phases through successfully. She then collapses and reveals to the team that she is the adult Kate from the future, and must prevent a critical event, the assassination of Senator Robert Kelly, a mutant critical political figure, along with Charles Xavier and Moira MacTaggart during a Senate hearing. At the Senate hearing, the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, led by Mystique, a shape-shifting mutant, ambush Kelly and their targets. The X-Men confront them. Wolverine nearly strikes Pyro, but is restrained. Xavier and MacTaggart are abducted by Mystique, disguised as security. Kitty disrupts Destiny's aim with a crossbow, saving Kelly's life. After the confrontation, Rachel's psychic influence returns Kate's mind to her original future body, and present Kitty resumes normal life, unaware of the interim period. In future frames, the altered present remains unresolved. The 2013 reality the survivors come from may still exist, or may have created a branching timeline rather than erased itself. Sentinels continue their advance, and the fate of mutantkind remains uncertain at the arc's end. The story does not show post-mission future, only implies possible change or divergence. Secret Wars refers to two major Marvel Comics crossover events, the first in 1984 and the second in 2015, each with distinct narratives and impacts on the Marvel Universe. The original Secret Wars, 1984, written by Jim Shooter with art by Mike Zeck and Bob Layton, was created to promote a toy line. It begins when a cosmic entity known as the Beyonder transports Earth's heroes and villains to a distant planet called Battleworld. The Beyonder, fascinated by the conflict between good and evil, pits the two sides against each other, promising to grant the victors their greatest desires. The heroes, including the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, face off against villains like Dr. Doom, Magneto, and the Lizard. Over the course of the series, alliances shift, and Dr. Doom ultimately steals the Beyonder's power, becoming nearly omnipotent before being defeated. The event is notable for introducing Spider-Man's black symbiote suit, which later becomes Venom, and for its exploration of character dynamics under extreme pressure. Kraven's last hunt begins with Sergei Kravinoff, known as Kraven the Hunter, a seasoned big-game tracker who seeks one final conquest, Spider-Man, his lifelong rival. Kraven believes his legacy is incomplete because he has never fully defeated Spider-Man on his own terms. Kraven kidnaps Peter Parker during a rooftop ambush, injects him with a powerful sedative, and enters him alive in a shallow grave on Kraven's rural estate. He then dons Spider-Man's costume to patrol New York City with brutal force, targeting criminals more violently than Peter ever would. His path culminates in the capture of Vermin, a bestial sewer dweller whom Spider-Man previously needed help to beat. After 2 weeks trapped underground, Parker regains consciousness, digs himself out, and returns to confront Kraven. In a tense reunion at Kraven's estate, Kraven acknowledges his victory yet remains obsessed with proving he is superior. He releases Vermin, who retreats into the sewers. Parker, showing restraint, pursues Vermin only to bring him to justice rather than kill. Kraven, feeling that his purpose has been fulfilled and unable to bear his own obsession, leaves a written confession of his actions and takes his own life by gunshot in the estate grounds. Spider-Man returns to New York, broken but determined, his survival affirming his resilience and moral code. This arc deepens the contrast between Kraven's belief in primal dominance and Peter's human empathy. Kraven's descent into ritualized violence marks a departure from heroic storytelling into psychological drama. Parker's emergence from burial symbolizes a rebirth tied to love and responsibility rather than dominance. The saga concludes with Kraven's death and Parker's resolve to continue his mission, cementing this crossover as a turning point in Spider-Man's narrative evolution. The Infinity Gauntlet is a major crossover event in Marvel Comics. First published in 1991, written by Jim Starlin with art by George Perez and Ron Lim. The story revolves around Thanos, a powerful cosmic warlord who seeks ultimate power by collecting the 6 Infinity Gems: time, space, mind, soul, reality, and power. These gems, when combined and wielded within the Infinity Gauntlet, grant the user near omnipotent control over all aspects of existence. Thanos' goal is to use this power to impress Death, a personified entity he is infatuated with, by erasing half of all life in the universe. The event begins with Thanos already in possession of the Gauntlet, having secretly gathered the gems off-panel. His first act is to wipe out half of all life in the universe with a snap of his fingers, causing widespread devastation and drawing the attention of Earth's heroes and cosmic entities alike. The surviving heroes, including the Avengers, Silver Surfer, and Doctor Strange, band together to confront Thanos, but they are vastly outmatched by his godlike abilities. Thanos effortlessly defeats them, showcasing the Gauntlet's power by altering reality, manipulating time, and even resurrecting his deceased loved ones to torment them. As the conflict escalates, cosmic beings such as Eternity, Galactus, and the Living Tribunal intervene, recognizing the threat Thanos poses to the multiverse. However, even these entities fall before the Gauntlet's might. Thanos ultimately transcends his physical form, merging with the universe itself. Meanwhile, his granddaughter Nebula, whom he had tortured and left for dead, seizes an opportunity to steal the Gauntlet while Thanos is distracted. She reverses his actions, restoring the universe to its previous state, but her inexperience with the Gauntlet's power creates new chaos. The heroes, now aided by Adam Warlock, a cosmic strategist with a deep understanding of the gems, devise a plan to reclaim the Gauntlet. Warlock's knowledge proves crucial as he orchestrates a final confrontation with Nebula, who is eventually overpowered. In the end, the Gauntlet is taken by Warlock, who distributes the gems among trusted allies to prevent their misuse. The event concludes with the universe restored, but the lingering threat of the Infinity Gems remains, setting the stage for future storylines. The Infinity Gauntlet is notable for its exploration of power, morality, and the consequences of absolute control. It also serves as a pivotal moment in Marvel's cosmic narrative, influencing characters like Thanos, Warlock, and Nebula for decades. The event's impact extends beyond comics, inspiring adaptations in other media, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where the Infinity Gauntlet storyline plays a central role in films like Avengers, Infinity War 2018, and Avengers Endgame 2019. Infinity War 1992 is a Marvel crossover event that follows Adam Warlock, a cosmic being connected to the Soul Gem, one of the 6 Infinity Gems that control aspects of reality. The story begins when Thanos, a powerful warlord obsessed with power, detects a new cosmic threat. This threat is the Magus, a dark manifestation of Adam Warlock's suppressed evil, who seeks to reshape the universe by creating twisted doppelgangers of Earth's heroes and gaining control of the Infinity Gems. The conflict draws in major heroes, including Spider-Man, a web-slinging crime fighter with enhanced agility and spider sense, Captain America, a super soldier and master tactician, Iron Man, a billionaire genius wearing advanced armor, Thor, the Norse god of thunder wielding Mjolnir, Hulk, a giant whose strength increases with rage, and Doctor Strange, the sorcerer supreme who wields immense mystical power. Other groups such as the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and cosmic beings like Eternity, the personification of the universe, and the Living Tribunal, the supreme cosmic judge, also take part. The Magus manipulates events from the shadows, using the power of the Infinity Gems to spread chaos and deceive heroes and villains alike. Thanos, despite his past as a major threat, recognizes the greater danger and allies with Adam Warlock to stop the Magus from achieving total domination. As reality begins to unravel, a final battle ensues across multiple dimensions, leading to Adam Warlock outwitting the Magus and trapping him within the Soul Gem. With the Magus defeated, balance is restored, but lingering threats remain, setting the stage for future cosmic conflicts such as Infinity Crusade 1993. The event reinforces the significance of the Infinity Gems and the immense power they hold, shaping many future battles in the Marvel Universe. In 2004, the Avengers Disassembled storyline unfolded, marking a pivotal moment for the Avengers. The narrative begins with Jack of Hearts, a former Avenger with explosive energy powers, returning unexpectedly to Avengers Mansion. Upon arrival, Jack of Hearts detonates himself, causing significant destruction and resulting in the death of Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man, who possesses the ability to shrink and grow in size. Shortly after, the Vision, a synthezoid with density-altering abilities, crashes a Quinjet into the mansion. Emerging from the wreckage, Vision releases a horde horde of Ultron drones, leading to a chaotic battle. During this confrontation, Jennifer Walters, known as She-Hulk for her superhuman strength and resilience, loses control and violently tears Vision apart. Concurrently, Tony Stark, the armored superhero Iron Man, exhibits erratic behavior during a United Nations meeting, appearing intoxicated despite his sobriety. This incident results in the revocation of the Avengers UN Charter. As the team grapples with these crises, a Kree warship attacks, escalating the turmoil. In the ensuing battle, Clint Barton, known as Hawkeye for his exceptional archery skills, sacrifices himself by commandeering a damaged Kree vessel and directing it away before it explodes. Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme and Master of the Mystic Arts, arrives to reveal that Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch with reality-warping abilities, is behind these catastrophic events. Wanda's suppressed memories of her lost children resurface, leading to a mental breakdown and her assault on the Avengers. Doctor Strange confronts Wanda, ultimately rendering her unconscious. Magneto, the mutant with control over magnetism, and Wanda's father, arrives to take her into his care. In the aftermath, the Avengers disband, mourning the loss of their teammates and reflecting on the profound impact of these events. House of M is a 2005 Marvel Comics crossover event written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Olivier Coipel. The story follows the aftermath of Avengers Disassembled, 2004, where the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, suffering from a mental breakdown due to the loss of her children and her unstable reality-warping powers, becomes a danger to the world. Concerned for her safety and the threat she poses, the Avengers and the X-Men gather to decide her fate. Professor X and Magneto, her father, advocate for compassion, while others, like Iron Man and Doctor Strange, argue for more drastic measures. Before a decision can be made, the Scarlet Witch uses her powers to alter reality, creating a world where mutants are the dominant species and humans are the minority. In this new reality, known as the House of M, Magneto rules as the patriarch of a global mutant empire, with his family, including Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, holding positions of power. Key characters experience altered lives. Wolverine retains memories of the original timeline. Spider-Man is happily married to Gwen Stacy, and the Avengers are a celebrated team of mutant heroes. However, cracks in this fabricated world begin to show as Wolverine, with the help of Layla Miller, a mutant who also remembers the true reality, works to awaken others. As more heroes regain their memories, they confront the Scarlet Witch, who is revealed to be the architect of this altered world. The climax occurs when the heroes, led by Wolverine and Magneto, confront Wanda at her family's estate. In a moment of clarity, she realizes the harm she has caused and utters the phrase, "No more mutants," using her powers to rewrite reality once more. This act depowers the vast majority of mutants worldwide, reducing their population from millions to just a few hundred. The event concludes with the restoration of the original timeline, but the Marvel Universe is forever changed. Mutants, once a thriving species, are now an endangered minority, leading to a shift in the dynamics of the X-Men and their ongoing struggle for survival. House of M is significant for its exploration of themes such as power, loss, and the consequences of altering reality. It also had a lasting impact on the Marvel Universe, particularly in the X-Men titles, where the depowering of mutants became a central narrative focus. The event is remembered for its dramatic stakes, emotional depth, and the pivotal role it played in shaping the direction of Marvel Comics in the mid-2000s. The Winter Soldier arc begins when Rogers is briefed by the espionage agency S.H.I.E.L.D. on the Winter Soldier, an enduring assassin active across decades who appears not to age. S.H.I.E.L.D. believes the soldier may be Bucky Barnes, Rogers' sidekick thought dead in World War II. Fury suspects that Alexander Lukin, a Russian oligarch and former intelligence officer, holds a powerful reality-warping artifact called the Cosmic Cube and controls the soldier. Rogers investigates Lukin's base in a remote mountain compound. There he confronts the Winter Soldier for the first time. During combat, Rogers seizes the Cosmic Cube and uses it to counter the soldier's brainwashing. The soldier is revealed to be Bucky Barnes, Rogers' former partner who survived apparent death and was reprogrammed by Soviet handlers using cybernetic enhancements. After regaining memory, Bucky feels guilt and shatters the cube. Rogers decides to spare Bucky, attempting rehabilitation instead of retribution. Their confrontation ends without clear resolution as Bucky flees, haunted by remorse and seeking isolation. Epilogue reveals that Rogers' longtime nemesis, the Red Skull, remains alive by transferring consciousness into Lukin's mind using the Cosmic Cube device. Throughout the arc, Falcon appears, an aerial partner told to assist Rogers in locating the soldier and disrupting Lukin's operations. Sharon Carter, an intelligence agent with personal stakes in the soldier's crimes, confronts past trauma tied to one of his acts and becomes pivotal in the joint effort to free him. This arc tracks Rogers from encountering a mysterious assassin to uncovering the truth about his own ally, preventing misuse of the Cosmic Cube, and beginning a fragile hero-sidekick reconciliation. Civil War is a 2006 to 2007 Marvel Comics crossover event. The story centers on an ideological conflict between superheroes over the Superhuman Registration Act, a law requiring all superpowered individuals to register their identities with the government and undergo training. The catalyst for this conflict is a tragic incident in Stamford, Connecticut, where a group of young superheroes, the New Warriors, accidentally cause an explosion during a reality TV shoot, resulting in the deaths of hundreds, including children. This disaster sparks public outrage and leads to the passage of the Registration Act, dividing the superhero community into two factions. On one side is Iron Man, Tony Stark, who supports the act, believing it will provide accountability and prevent further tragedies. He is joined by heroes like Mr. Fantastic, Hank Pym, and Spider-Man, who initially reveals his secret identity to the public as a show of support. On the opposing side is Captain America, Steve Rogers, who views the act as a violation of civil liberties and an overreach of government control. He leads a resistance movement, including characters like Luke Cage, the Falcon, and the Young Avengers, who operate underground to protect their freedoms. The conflict escalates into a full-scale war, with battles taking place across the United States, including a climactic fight in New York City. Key moments include Spider-Man's defection from Iron Man's side after realizing the ethical implications of the act, and the imprisonment of anti-registration heroes in a facility in the negative zone. The war reaches its peak when Captain America and Iron Man face off in a brutal final confrontation. However, after gaining the upper hand, Captain America surrenders upon realizing the collateral damage and loss of public trust caused by the conflict. His arrest marks the end of the war, but the fallout continues to shape the Marvel Universe. The event concludes with Iron Man becoming the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., while Captain America is later assassinated, further deepening the divisions within the superhero community. Civil War is notable for its exploration of themes such as security versus freedom, the ethics of government oversight, and the personal costs of ideological conflict. It also significantly altered the dynamics of the Marvel Universe, leading to lasting changes in character relationships and the introduction of new status quos. The event's influence extended beyond comics, inspiring storylines in other media, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Captain America: Civil War, 2016, which adapts the core conflict while incorporating elements unique to the films. In March 2007, Marvel Comics published Captain America Volume 5, issue number 25, titled The Death of the Dream Part 1, marking a pivotal moment in the Marvel Universe. This issue is part of the larger Civil War storyline. Following the conclusion of Civil War, Captain America surrenders to authorities after opposing the Superhuman Registration Act. While in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, Rogers is assassinated. Crossbones, a mercenary and ally of the Red Skull, shoots him. Sharon Carter, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and Rogers' former love interest, delivers the fatal blow under the influence of mind control. This assassination is orchestrated by the Red Skull, who inhabits the body of Alexander Lukin, a former Russian intelligence officer. The immediate aftermath sees S.H.I.E.L.D. director Tony Stark and the Black Widow investigating Rogers' death. Meanwhile, Bucky Barnes, Rogers' former sidekick, contemplates vengeance against Stark, blaming him for Rogers' demise. In a significant development, Stark reveals a letter from Rogers expressing his wish for Bucky to continue the mantle of Captain America. Bucky agrees to take on the role, provided he operates independently, without allegiance to Stark, S.H.I.E.L.D., or the Initiative. The Red Skull's machinations continue as he uses his control over Lukin's identity and the Cronus Corporation to destabilize the United States economically. He also manipulates S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, under the influence of Dr. Faustus, to incite violence among protesters, furthering his agenda. Additionally, the Red Skull plans to transfer his consciousness into Sharon Carter's unborn child, who is believed to be Rogers' offspring. This series of events is chronicled in subsequent issues of Captain America Volume 5, particularly in issues number 26 through number 30, 2007. These issues explore the ramifications of Rogers' death, Bucky's assumption of the Captain America mantle, and the Red Skull's ongoing schemes. The storyline significantly impacted the Marvel Universe, leading to lasting changes in character dynamics and setting the stage for future narratives. Secret Invasion 2008 is a crossover event in which the Skrulls, a shape-shifting alien race capable of mimicking others at a genetic level, execute a long-planned infiltration of Earth by replacing key figures with disguised operatives. The invasion is led by Varanka, a Skrull queen who believes in a prophecy stating that Earth is destined to be the Skrulls' new home. She replaces Jessica Drew, a highly skilled fighter and espionage expert known as Spider-Woman, using her position within the superhero community to manipulate both the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. Disassembled, a covert military intelligence agency. Tony Stark, a technological genius in advanced armor recognized as Iron Man, discovers that Skrulls are undetectable by conventional methods, leading to distrust among heroes. Reed Richards, a pioneering scientist with an elastic body referred to as Mr. Fantastic, develops a way to identify Skrull infiltrators but is incapacitated by the invaders before he can act. A Skrull impersonating Henry Pym, a brilliant biochemist and original Ant-Man, disables Janet Van Dyne, a size-changing hero known as Wasp, causing her body to release a biological weapon. The Skrulls unleash sleeper agents, including those replacing Elektra, a highly skilled assassin, and Black Bolt, the inhuman king whose voice can cause cataclysmic destruction. The conflict reaches Wakanda, a technologically advanced African nation ruled by T'Challa, a master strategist and warrior known as Black Panther, as well as Atlantis, an undersea kingdom governed by Namor, a hybrid of human and Atlantean descent possessing immense strength. Meanwhile, Nick Fury, a veteran spy master and former S.H.I.E.L.D. director, resurfaces after years in hiding and assembles a resistance force known as the Secret Warriors, consisting of operatives like Daisy Johnson, an agent with seismic abilities called Quake. A major battle takes place in New York, where Thor, a god of thunder wielding the mystical hammer Mjolnir, and the combined forces of the Avengers, including Steve Rogers, a super soldier known as Captain America, and Clint Barton, a precise marksman known as Hawkeye, fight the Skrull army. Norman Osborn, a calculating industrialist and former Green Goblin, lands the final blow by killing Varanki, positioning himself as a hero in the eyes of the public. Following the invasion, Tony Stark is blamed for failing to prevent the crisis, leading to the dissolution of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Osborn's rise to power as the leader of Hammer, a new security organization. With Skrulls scattered, distrust lingers among Earth's defenders as they struggle to recover from the extensive deception. Age of Ultron is a 2013 10-issue crossover event in Marvel Comics. It centers on the sentient robot tyrant Ultron, who conquers Earth in an apocalyptic future known as Earth 61112. He deploys armies of powerful drones that patrol ruined cities, hunting survivors. The story opens with Hawkeye, a skilled archer resilient in battle, rescuing Spider-Man from underworld criminals in devastated New York. They reach an underground bunker populated by heroes including Cage, a durable street-level protector, She-Hulk, a green-skinned powerhouse, Iron Man, an armored inventor, Emma Frost, a telepathic strategist, and Black Widow, a former covert agent. Captain America, a patriotic super soldier, gathers the group and formulates a plan. The Resistance discovers Ultron's mind operates from the future, using temporal technology to control the present. Heroes Storm, a weather-manipulating leader, Quake, a seismic force wielder, Red Hulk, Nick Fury, a strategic commander, Quicksilver, a super-speed twin, and Wolverine, a regenerative mutant fighter, all join a mission to travel forward through time using a time platform. Wolverine, predicting failure, ventures alone into the past with Invisible Woman, an energy field projector, to eliminate Hank Pym, a genius scientist responsible for Ultron's creation. Their initial attempt succeeds in killing Pym, but returning to the future, they find an even more chaotic world ruled in part by magic, dominated by Morgan Le Fay, a powerful sorceress, and militarized defenders including alternate versions of Captain America, Hulk, Thing, Cable, Doctor Strange, Wasp, and Star-Lord. That world's Iron Man, a technological commander, confronts Wolverine and Sue, enforcing a lockdown aboard a helicarrier and resisting their story as something magical agents planted. A battle erupts involving Morgan's magical forces and mechanical drones above New York, destroying helicarriers. A dying Tony Stark warns Wolverine not to tear apart time, describing it as a living organism that would break. Wolverine re-enters the past again, this time only to warn Pym instead of killing him. In issue number 10, heroes including Dr. Doom's ally on time travel collaborate, and after intense effort, disable Ultron using a fail-safe program hidden in Ultron's design by Pym. The future resets closer to normal, though residual effects remain. The second Secret Wars 2015 is a more complex and universe-altering event. It serves as the culmination of Hickman's runs on Fantastic Four and Avengers, where the multiverse faces destruction due to incursions, collisions between parallel realities. The final incursion results in the annihilation of all universes except two: the main Marvel universe, Earth 616, and the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610. Dr. Doom, with the help of Doctor Strange and the Molecule Man, uses the power of the Beyonders to save fragments of these worlds, creating a new battle world ruled by him as God Emperor. This patchwork planet is divided into domains, each representing different realities or timelines, such as the Age of Apocalypse or the Marvel Zombies universe. The story follows the surviving heroes, led by Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, as they resist Doom's tyrannical rule and seek to restore the multiverse. Key moments include the revelation that Doom's actions were driven by his desire to save what he could, albeit under his control, and the eventual overthrow of his regime by Richards, who uses the power of the Molecule Man to rebuild the multiverse. The event concludes with the creation of a new unified Marvel universe, merging elements of Earth Earth-616 and Earth-1610, and introducing new status quos for characters like Miles Morales, who transitions from the Ultimate Universe to the main continuity. Both iterations of Secret Wars are significant for their scale and impact on Marvel's storytelling. The 1984 version is remembered for its straightforward, action-driven narrative and lasting character developments, while the 2015 version is praised for its intricate plot, thematic depth, and role in reshaping the Marvel Universe. Together, they highlight Marvel's ability to reinvent its universe while maintaining continuity and exploring the moral complexities of its characters. Civil War 2016 is a Marvel Comics crossover event that centers around the conflict between Tony Stark and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, over the use of Ulysses, a young Inhuman with the ability to predict the future. Ulysses has visions of catastrophic events before they happen, and Carol Danvers, believing that these visions can be used to prevent tragedies, advocates for preemptive strikes to stop crimes before they occur. Tony Stark, however, opposes this approach, arguing that punishing people for crimes they haven't committed violates personal freedoms. The conflict escalates when Ulysses predicts a devastating event involving Thanos, the cosmic conqueror. Carol Danvers orders a preemptive strike on Thanos, leading to his capture, but the situation quickly spirals out of control, with Bruce Banner, Hulk, killed during the conflict, which intensifies the divide between the two sides. Tony Stark leads a group of heroes opposing Carol Danvers, including Black Panther, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ant-Man, and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Carol Danvers leads her own faction, including Black Widow, Captain America, Sam Wilson, and War Machine. The event concludes with Tony Stark being severely injured in a final confrontation with Carol Danvers, leaving the Avengers fractured. The aftermath sees a divided superhero community, with Carol Danvers and Tony Stark maintaining opposing views on how to protect the world. In Batman the Killing Joke, Bruce Wayne's masked vigilante investigates a breakout at Arkham Asylum and confronts a decoy in the Joker's cell before discovering the real criminal is free. The escaped villain aims to prove that any upright person can be driven insane by enduring one bad day. In interwoven flashbacks, the man who becomes the Joker is shown as an anonymous engineer who left a chemical plant to pursue a career in stand-up comedy. He fails to support his pregnant wife, named Jeannie, whose sudden accidental death drives him into despair. The engineer is then coerced into a criminal plan requiring him to assume the identity of the Red Hood. During escape from a police confrontation, he falls into a vat of chemicals at Ace Chemical Processing Plant. That transformation bleaches his skin white, stains his lips red, and turns his hair green. He laughs hysterically, becoming the Joker. In the present timeline, the Joker shoots Commissioner James Gordon's daughter, Barbara Gordon, injuring her spine and ending her activity as Batgirl. He abducts Gordon and imprisons him inside a dilapidated amusement park. He forces him to view graphic photographs of Barbara and subjects him to psychological torture to test his sanity. Batman locates the park and rescues Gordon after confronting various traps. The Joker challenges Batman to accept that a single traumatic day can dismantle moral resolve. Amid taunting, Batman briefly laughs at the villain's twisted joke, then seizes him. Sirens sound, and the story concludes on an ambiguous note, leaving the fate of the Joker unresolved. Crisis on Infinite Earths is a landmark DC Comics event that reshaped the entire DC universe. Written by Marv Wolfman and illustrated by George Perez, the 12-issue limited series was published from April 1985 to March 1986. The story centers on the multiverse, a concept where countless parallel Earths exist, each with its own version of heroes, villains, and histories. The primary antagonist is the Anti-Monitor, a being of immense power who seeks to destroy all positive matter universes, leaving only antimatter realms under his control. To combat this threat, heroes and villains from across the multiverse unite, including iconic characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash, as well as lesser-known figures from various Earths. The narrative begins with the destruction of several parallel Earths, as the Anti-Monitor's wave of antimatter consumes them. The Monitor, a benevolent counterpart to the Anti-Monitor, assembles a team of heroes to fight this existential threat. Key moments include the death of the Flash, Barry Allen, who sacrifices himself to save the multiverse, and the heroic stand of Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, who perishes in battle against the Anti-Monitor. These deaths highlight the high stakes and emotional weight of the crisis. The story also introduces Harbinger, the Monitor's assistant, who plays a crucial role in gathering and guiding the heroes. As the crisis escalates, the heroes discover that the only way to stop the Anti-Monitor is to collapse the multiverse into a single unified reality. This leads to the merging of Earth 1, Earth 2, and other surviving Earths into one cohesive universe. The final battle takes place at the dawn of time, where the Spectre, a cosmic entity, aids the heroes in defeating the Anti-Monitor. The series concludes with the creation of a new, streamlined DC universe, erasing the complex multiverse and simplifying continuity for future stories. This event marked the end of the Silver and Bronze Ages of comics and ushered in the Modern Age, influencing countless stories that followed. The impact of Crisis on Infinite Earths is profound, as it not only resolved long-standing continuity issues, but also allowed DC to reboot its characters and settings. For example, characters like Superman and Wonder Woman were given updated origins, while others, such as the Justice Society of America, were temporarily retired. The event also set a precedent for future crossover events in comics, both within DC and across the industry. Its legacy endures, as later stories such as Infinite Crisis 2005 to 2006 and Dark Knight's Metal 2017-2018 revisit and expand upon its themes and consequences. The series remains a cornerstone of DC Comics history, celebrated for its ambitious scope and lasting influence on the medium. The Death of Superman, 1992, centers on Superman's battle with Doomsday, an unstoppable creature of immense strength. Doomsday, a being engineered for destruction, emerges from an underground chamber and begins wreaking havoc across the United States. The Justice League, including Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and Maxima, attempts to stop Doomsday, but is overwhelmed by his relentless power. Superman, the symbol of hope, confronts Doomsday in Metropolis, where their battle escalates with devastating blows. The fight culminates outside the Daily Planet, where both deliver fatal strikes, and Superman succumbs to his injuries. Lois Lane, Superman's closest ally, holds him as he dies, leaving the world in mourning. Lex Luthor, Superman's greatest enemy and brilliant strategist, watches his rival's death, but his victory feels hollow. The aftermath leads to national grief and the emergence of four figures claiming Superman's legacy: Steel, a genius inventor in power armor; Cyborg Superman, a cybernetic entity with hidden motives; Superboy, a youthful clone of Superman; and the Eradicator, a cold enforcer. Superman's absence creates vulnerability, setting the stage for future conflicts and the eventual return of the Man of Steel. The Batman Knightfall arc sees Bruce Wayne entering a midlife crisis as he faces physical exhaustion and mental fatigue after recapturing Arkham Asylum inmates released in a mass breakout orchestrated by Bane, an enhanced mastermind villain. Bane's plan begins with him shattering the asylum walls and freeing Joker, Scarecrow, Riddler, Poison Ivy, Mad Hatter, Ventriloquist, Firefly, Cavalier, among others, to overwhelm Wayne's resolve. As Wayne recaptures each criminal, he grows worried until Scarecrow's fear gas attacks him mentally. During this vulnerability, Bane confronts him at Wayne Manor and breaks Wayne's spine over his knee, crippling him. Wayne recovers under Dr. Chandra Kinsolving, a resiliency specialist. He selects John Paul Valley, an assassin raised by a religious order and known as Azrael, as his temporary successor. Wayne instructs Valley to preserve Batman's methods, especially against Bane. Valley dons an armored batsuit and confronts Bane. Valley prevails but becomes increasingly aggressive under the influence of his internal code, the System, acting more brutal and risking civilian safety. He alienates Robin, Tim Drake, and damages trust with the Gotham City Police Department. NightQuest splits into two threads. In The Crusade, Valley's violent conduct escalates. In The Search, Wayne travels abroad, joined by Alfred Pennyworth, to heal and regain confidence. In Night's End, Wayne returns to Gotham fully healed through mysterious support, confronts Valley, and reclaims the cowl. He reestablishes the original Batman persona with renewed discipline and restraint. This storyline included Wayne's loss of confidence in working alone, leading him to form the modern Batman family and contingency plans across Gotham. Alfred resigns temporarily in response to Wayne's suffering. Police and public trust shift as Wayne redeems the symbol's legacy. 0 Hour, Crisis in Time, is a DC Comics event published as a 5-issue limited series from September to October 1994. Written by Dan Jurgens, with art by Jurgens and Jerry Ordway. The story addresses growing continuity issues within the DC universe, particularly those stemming from the 1985 event Crisis on Infinite Earths. The central conflict revolves around the collapse of time itself, as temporal anomalies and paradoxes cause the past, present, and future to unravel. The event introduces Extant, a time-traveling villain, and a younger version of Hal Jordan, known as Parallax, who seeks to remake the universe after the destruction of his home city, Coast City. The narrative begins with heroes and villains across the DC universe noticing strange temporal disturbances, such as characters aging rapidly or disappearing entirely. These anomalies are caused by Extant, who manipulates time to destabilize reality. Meanwhile, Hal Jordan, driven by grief and rage, becomes Parallax and decides to use his newfound power to rewrite history, believing he can create a better world. His actions exacerbate exacerbate the crisis, leading to a countdown toward 0 hour, the moment when time will cease to exist. Heroes like Superman, Batman, and the Justice League must unite to stop both Extant and Parallax before the universe collapses. Key moments include the formation of a coalition of heroes from different eras, including the Legion of Superheroes from the future and the Justice Society from the past. The climax involves a battle at the Vanishing Point, the end of time, where the heroes confront Parallax and Extant. The story concludes with the defeat of both villains and the restoration of time, but not without significant changes to the DC universe. Parallax's actions result in the erasure of certain characters and events, streamlining continuity and resolving lingering inconsistencies from previous stories. 0 Hour is notable for its focus on time travel and its impact on DC's continuity. It serves as a follow-up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, addressing unresolved issues and setting the stage for future storytelling. The event also marks a turning point for Hal Jordan, whose transformation into Parallax becomes a defining aspect of his character. By blending high-stakes action with complex temporal mechanics, 0 Hour stands as a significant chapter in DC Comics, offering a fresh start while honoring its rich history. The event's influence is felt in subsequent stories, making it a crucial moment in the evolution of the DC universe. Final Night, 1996, follows Earth's fight for survival after the Sun Eater, a massive energy-consuming entity, drains the sun, causing darkness and plummeting temperatures. Superman, reliant on solar energy, becomes severely weakened. Hal Jordan, formerly a Green Lantern before becoming Parallax, possesses near-limitless energy manipulation after absorbing the central power battery. The Justice League, including Batman, a master strategist, and Wonder Woman, a divine warrior, works to counter the catastrophe. Lex Luthor, a genius strategist and scientist, develops plans to restore the sun. Martian Manhunter, a shape-shifting telepath, aids in rescue efforts. Aquaman, Atlantis' ruler with superhuman strength and aquatic telepathy, stabilizes the oceans as the planet freezes. Wally West, the Flash, uses super speed for evacuations and disaster relief. As the crisis escalates, Hal sacrifices himself, using his immense power to reignite the sun, saving Earth. Though redeemed, his past as Parallax leaves his legacy uncertain. The event ends with the heroes reflecting on Hal's sacrifice and the lasting effects of the disaster. Identity Crisis is a DC Comics event written by Brad Meltzer with art by Rags Morales, published as a 7-issue limited series from June 2004 to December 2004. The story focuses on the personal lives of superheroes, exploring themes of privacy, morality, and the consequences of past actions. It begins with the murder of Sue Dibney, the wife of the elongated man, Ralph Dibney, which shocks the superhero community and sets off a chain of events that reveal dark secrets. The investigation into her death uncovers a pattern of attacks targeting the loved ones of heroes, leading to widespread paranoia and mistrust among the Justice League. As the mystery unfolds, it is revealed that Sue's murder is connected to a series of mind wipes performed by a group of League members, including Zatanna, Green Arrow, Hawkman, and the Atom. These mind wipes were used to erase the memories of villains and, in one controversial instance, the memories of Batman, who had discovered their actions. The mind wipes were initially intended to protect the identities of heroes and their families, but the ethical implications of such actions come to light, causing tension and division within the superhero community. The story raises questions about the limits of power and the moral compromises made in the name of justice. The central antagonist is ultimately revealed to be Jean Loring, the ex-wife of Ray Palmer, the Atom, who had become mentally unstable. Using Ray's technology, she orchestrated the attacks in a misguided attempt to regain his attention. Her actions lead to tragic consequences, including the death of Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, and the severe injury of the Atom's girlfriend, Jean's rival. The story concludes with Jean being committed to Arkham Asylum, but the fallout from the events leaves lasting scars on the heroes involved. The Justice League's unity is fractured, and trust among its members is deeply eroded. Identity Crisis is notable for its focus on the human side of superheroes, delving into their vulnerabilities and the personal costs of their double lives. It also addresses the ethical dilemmas of using powers to manipulate minds, a theme that resonates throughout the DC universe. The event has a significant impact on subsequent storylines, influencing character dynamics and setting the stage for future conflicts, such as those seen in Infinite Crisis, 2005 to 2006. By blending a murder mystery with deeper philosophical questions, Identity Crisis remains a defining moment in DC Comics, offering a grounded and emotionally charged exploration of its characters. Infinite Crisis is a major DC Comics event published as a 7-issue limited series from December 2005 to June 2006, written by Jeff Johns and illustrated by Phil Jimenez. Serving as a sequel to the 1985 to 1986 event Crisis on Infinite Earths, it explores the consequences of merging the multiverse into a single universe and the moral decay of the DC Universe's heroes. The story begins with the return of Earth 2's Superman, Alexander Luthor, son of Lex Luthor and Superboy Prime, who had been trapped in a paradise dimension since the original Crisis. Disillusioned with the current state of the world, they seek to restore the multiverse, believing it to be a better, purer reality. The central conflict arises from the growing divide between heroes, particularly Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, whose ideals and methods have become increasingly strained. Batman's distrust, Superman's perceived detachment, and Wonder Woman's willingness to kill Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman number 219, 2005, highlight the fractures within the superhero community. These tensions are exploited by Alexander Luthor, who manipulates events to pit heroes against each other while constructing a tower designed to recreate the multiverse. Superboy Prime, driven by nostalgia for a simpler time, becomes a destructive force, attacking heroes and causing widespread chaos. Key moments include the death of Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle, who uncovers Alexander Luthor's plans, but is killed before he can warn others. This event galvanizes heroes to unite against the growing threat. The climax involves a massive battle in Metropolis, where Superboy Prime wreaks havoc, and Alexander Luthor's tower is destroyed. The story concludes with the restoration of a new multiverse, though not in the form Alexander Luthor intended. The event also sees the return of the original Flash, Barry Allen, who had been presumed dead since Crisis on Infinite Earths. The aftermath of Infinite Crisis significantly impacts the DC Universe. It leads to the 1 year later time jump, where characters and storylines are reimagined with a fresh perspective. The event also sets the stage for future storylines, such as 52, 2006 to 2007, and Final Crisis, 2008 to 2009, further exploring the complexities of the multiverse and the evolving nature of heroism. Infinite Crisis serves as a critical examination of the superhero genre, blending action with deeper thematic elements. Its influence continues to shape DC Comics, making it a pivotal moment in the publisher's history. Final Crisis is a pivotal DC Comics event written by Grant Morrison, with art by J.G. Jones, Doug Mahnke, and others, published as a 7-issue limited series from July 2008 to March 2009. The story centers on the ultimate battle between good and evil, as Darkseid, the tyrannical ruler of Apocalypse, orchestrates a plan to enslave all of reality using the anti-life equation, a formula that eliminates free will. The narrative is complex, blending metaphysical concepts with superhero action, and serves as a culmination of themes introduced in earlier DC events like Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis. The event begins with the murder of Orion, Darkseid's son, which triggers a chain of events leading to Darkseid's descent to Earth. Using human avatars, Darkseid and his followers infiltrate society, spreading the anti-life equation and plunging the world into chaos. Heroes like Batman, Superman, and the Flash are thrust into a desperate struggle to stop Darkseid's conquest. A key moment occurs when Batman confronts Darkseid and fires a radion bullet, a weapon lethal to new gods, but is seemingly killed in the process. This act of defiance becomes a turning point in the resistance against Darkseid's tyranny. As the crisis deepens, the fabric of reality begins to unravel, with time and space collapsing due to Darkseid's influence. The Flash, Wally West, plays a crucial role by using his speed to outrun the anti-life equation and inspire hope in others. Meanwhile, Superman is sent on a cosmic journey to retrieve the essence of the original New Gods, who had been displaced by Darkseid's actions. The story reaches its climax when Darkseid's physical form is destroyed, but his essence lingers, threatening to drag all of existence into a black hole of despair. The resolution involves Superman using a cosmic artifact called the Miracle Machine to rewrite reality, restoring hope and free will. Batman, believed dead, is revealed to have been sent back in time, setting up future storylines. Final Crisis concludes with the defeat of Darkseid and the preservation of the multiverse, but at a great cost. The event is notable for its philosophical depth, exploring themes of hope, despair, and the resilience of the human spirit. It also introduces new concepts, such as the multiverse's map and the idea of story as a fundamental force in the DC universe. Final Crisis has a lasting impact on DC Comics, influencing subsequent stories like The Multiversity, 2014-2015, and Dark Knight's Metal, 2017-2018. Its intricate narrative and ambitious scope make it a defining moment in DC's history, blending high-stakes action with profound thematic exploration. The event remains a cornerstone of Grant Morrison's work and a testament to the enduring complexity of the DC universe. Blackest Night is a DC Comics event written by Jeff Johns with art by Ivan Rice, published as an 8-issue series from July 2009 to March 2010. The story revolves around the Black Lantern Corps, an army of reanimated dead beings powered by black power rings which seek to eradicate all life and emotion in the universe. The event is the culmination of Johns' work on the Green Lantern mythos, building on the emotional spectrum introduced in earlier stories. The emotional spectrum consists of various colored lantern corps, each representing a different emotion, such as green for willpower, red for rage, and blue for hope. The Black Lanterns, however, represent death and are driven by the absence of emotion. The narrative begins with the rise of the Black Lantern Corps, led by Nekron, a primordial entity of death. Nekron's goal is to extinguish all life and bring the universe into eternal darkness. The Black Lanterns reanimate deceased heroes and villains, including characters like Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, and the original Firestorm, using them as soldiers in their war against the living. The living heroes, including Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Barry Allen, The Flash, and the Justice League, must unite to combat this overwhelming threat. The story explores themes of loss, grief, and the resilience of life in the face of death. A key element of the conflict is the emotional spectrum, as the heroes discover that the Black Lanterns can only be defeated by combining the powers of all the Lantern Corps. This leads to the creation of the White Lantern, a being of life and rebirth, which becomes central to the battle against Nekron. The climax involves Hal Jordan and Barry Allen confronting Nekron with the help of the resurrected heroes and the combined forces of the emotional spectrum. The story concludes with the defeat of Nekron and the restoration of life, but not without significant consequences, as the event reshapes the DC universe and sets the stage for future storylines. Blackest Night is notable for its exploration of the emotional spectrum and its impact on the Green Lantern mythos. It also features the return of several deceased characters, adding emotional weight to the narrative. The event has lasting effects on the DC universe, influencing subsequent stories like Brightest Day, 2010 to 2011, and War of the Green Lanterns, 2011. By blending cosmic action with deep emotional themes, Blackest Night stands as a defining moment in DC Comics, offering a compelling and impactful exploration of life, death, and the power of emotion. Flashpoint is a DC Comics event written by Jeff Johns with art by Andy Kubert, published as a 5-issue series from May to August 2011. The story centers on Barry Allen, the Flash, who wakes up in an alternate timeline where the world is drastically different. In this reality, Barry has no powers, his mother is alive, and the Justice League never formed. The world is on the brink of collapse due to a war between Wonder Woman's Amazons and Aquaman's Atlanteans, which has devastated entire continents and threatens global annihilation. Barry must regain his powers and restore the timeline, but doing so comes with significant consequences. The event begins with Barry discovering that his actions in the past, specifically his attempt to save his mother from being murdered, have created this fractured reality. Key differences include Bruce Wayne being killed as a child, leading his father, Thomas Wayne, to become a ruthless version of Batman, and Superman being held captive by the government since childhood, never becoming the hero he was meant to be. Barry teams up with Thomas Wayne's Batman and a group of resistance fighters, including Cyborg, to stop the war and find a way to fix the timeline. The story explores themes of loss, responsibility, and the unintended consequences of altering history. A pivotal moment occurs when Barry regains his powers and attempts to recreate the accident that originally gave him his speed. With the help of Thomas Wayne's Batman, he succeeds, but the process is fraught with danger. The climax involves Barry confronting Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who reveals that he manipulated events to create this timeline as a way to punish Barry. The story concludes with Barry using his restored powers to reset the timeline, but not before Thomas Wayne gives him a letter to deliver to Bruce in the restored reality, adding an emotional layer to the resolution. Flashpoint has far-reaching implications for the DC universe, as the restoration of the timeline leads to the creation of the New 52, a company-wide reboot that reimagined DC's characters and continuity. The event is notable for its exploration of alternate realities and its impact on the broader DC mythos. By blending personal stakes with large-scale consequences, Flashpoint serves as a pivotal moment in DC Comics, reshaping its universe and setting the stage for new storytelling opportunities. The event remains a defining chapter in the Flash's history and a testament to the enduring appeal of time travel narratives in superhero comics. Dark Knight's Metal is a DC Comics event written by Scott Snyder with art by Greg Capullo, published as a 6-issue series from August 2017 to March 2018. The story explores the concept of the Dark Multiverse, a twisted reflection of the main DC multiverse where nightmares become reality. The event begins with Batman's discovery of a mysterious metal called Nth Metal, which leads him to uncover a larger threat involving Barbatos, a dark god who seeks to invade the main multiverse. Barbatos is revealed to be an ancient entity tied to the Bat Batman mythos, and his plan involves using the dark multiverse to overwhelm and destroy the positive matter universes. The narrative centers on the Justice League's efforts to stop Barbados and his army of Dark Knights, alternate versions of Batman from the dark multiverse. These Dark Knights are twisted reflections of Batman, each representing a different fear or failure, such as the Batman who laughs, a fusion of Batman and the Joker. As the heroes battle these nightmarish versions of Batman, they learn that the dark multiverse is fueled by fear and despair, and its existence threatens to consume all of reality. The story also introduces the concept of the Source Wall, a cosmic barrier that separates the multiverse from the unknown realms beyond, which plays a key role in the conflict. Key moments include the Justice League's journey through the dark multiverse, where they confront their own fears and failures. Batman is captured by Barbados and used as a conduit to breach the Source Wall, while Superman, Wonder Woman, and other heroes rally to stop the invasion. The climax involves the heroes harnessing the power of the Nth Metal and the forces of the multiverse to fight back against Barbados and the Dark Knights. The story concludes with the defeat of Barbados and the sealing of the dark multiverse, but not without consequences, as the Source Wall is damaged, unleashing new threats. The event has significant implications for the DC Universe, introducing new concepts like the dark multiverse and the Batman who laughs, who becomes a recurring antagonist in later stories. It also sets the stage for future events such as Justice League No Justice 2018 and Year of the Villain 2019, which explore the fallout from the Source Wall's destruction. Dark Knight's Metal is celebrated for its high-energy storytelling, intricate world-building, and bold reinvention of DC's cosmic mythology. By blending superhero action with dark, fantastical elements, the event stands as a defining chapter in DC Comics, expanding the scope of its multiverse and challenging its heroes in unprecedented ways. Doomsday Clock ran from November 2017 to December 2019 in 12 issues. Serving as a sequel to Watchmen 1986 to 1987, it merges the Watchmen universe with the DC universe. Dr. Manhattan, a godlike being who manipulates time, matter, and reality, destabilizes existence through his detached experiments. Ozymandias, a strategist known for elaborate schemes, seeks to unite heroes from both worlds to prevent disaster caused by Dr. Manhattan's interference. Batman, a master detective and martial artist dedicated to justice, investigates Manhattan's influence on reality. Superman, a symbol of hope and heroism, struggles to understand how Manhattan's actions reshape the world. Wonder Woman, an Amazon warrior with leadership skills and superhuman strength, navigates the unfolding crisis. Manhattan's timeline alterations create an existential crisis for heroes, leading to a final confrontation. The story concludes with the restoration of balance, reinforcing the significance of legacy and shaping future DC storylines. Doomsday Clock explores power, morality, and reality, while bridging two iconic universes. Dark Knight's Death Metal is a DC Comics event that ran from 2020 to 2021. The storyline unfolds in a high-stakes, universe-spanning scenario where the Batman who laughs seizes control of Prime Earth with the aid of Perpetua, the cosmic entity responsible for the creation of the DC multiverse. Under his rule, reality is transformed into the Metalverse, a nightmarish dimension in which Gotham City has expanded into a continent-sized wasteland dominated by Joker dragons. Superman is imprisoned on New Apokolips to serve as a power source, and the Arkham wastelands remain contaminated following Captain Atom's catastrophic explosion. The climactic confrontation centers on Wonder Woman, now armored in golden battle gear, as she faces the Darkest Night, the ultimate evolved form of the Batman who laughs. Their fight transcends time and space, reaching the moment of creation, where the Darkest Night reveals that Perpetua's cosmic hands, entities tasked with overseeing universal order, plan to annihilate existence entirely. He offers Diana a choice: continue the battle at the risk of total destruction, or ally with him to eliminate the hands and remake reality. Diana refuses to surrender and propels him through time into the collapsing embers of Earth's dying sun. Back on Earth, the battle intensifies. Batman resurrects allies and enemies alike to confront the Robin King, while Lex Luthor sacrifices himself to save Superman from the monstrous last sun. Bizarre resurrected figures, including B-Rex and Bader, join the conflict. Ultimately, Diana casts the Darkest Night into an enormous red sun, destroying him. She awakens in a white void where a cosmic hand manifests as her Golden Age counterpart. This entity informs her that her defiance has persuaded the cosmic overseers to restore the multiverse, integrating all past events and stories into a boundless new reality. Diana ascends to a higher plane to monitor potential future threats. In the aftermath, Earth celebrates within the Hall of Justice as heroes and villains alike witness the restoration of the multiverse, now elevated into an omniverse, a limitless expanse of possibilities where Prime Earth no longer occupies a central position. The storyline concludes the Dark Multiverse saga with expansive, chaotic energy, uniting past events while introducing a new era of infinite potential across DC's multiversal landscape. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths ran from June to December 2022 in 7 issues. After Justice League number 75, 2022, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter appear to be killed by Pariah and the Dark Army. Pariah, a scientist from Crisis on Infinite Earths, 1985 to 1986, responsible for the multiverse's collapse, seeks to restore it using the Great Darkness, an ancient force of destruction. The Great Darkness threatens reality as Pariah leads an assault with the Dark Army, a group of corrupted beings including Darkseid, Doomsday, Ares, and evil versions of heroes. With the Justice League trapped in separate pocket worlds, Earth is left unprotected, forcing John Kent, Nightwing, Wally West, Yara Flor, and the Teen Titans to defend it. John Kent, inheriting Superman's powers and ideals, assumes leadership. Wally West, a speedster and successor to Barry Allen, guides younger heroes. Nightwing, a skilled fighter and strategist, leads the resistance. Yara Flor, an Amazon warrior, carries Wonder Woman's legacy into battle. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, powerful Green Lanterns, fight against the darkness. Zatanna, a sorceress, and Dr. Fate, a mystical guardian, play key roles in the conflict. The event ends with the multiverse restored, reversing changes from Death Metal 2020. It sets up future storylines like Lazarus Planet 2023 and Dawn of DC 2023 to 2024, while reinforcing the importance of legacy heroes and the ongoing battle to protect existence.